In every confrontation, there are two types of people: those who react and those who control the reaction. The first reveal everything: their fear, anger, insecurity, and weakness. The second reveal nothing. They stand still, silent, unreadable. And that silence is power. The world teaches you to defend yourself, to explain, to prove your worth. But the wise understand, when you respond emotionally, you hand over control. The louder you get, the smaller you look. The calmer you stay, the more power you command. To stay unshaken in any confrontation is not about dominance. It's about discipline. It's about understanding that composure is the highest form of strength. When you can remain unbothered in the face of provocation, you've already won, because the one who stays calm dictates the pace, the tone, and the outcome. This isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about mastering it. It's about learning to let chaos burn around you without flinching. Because every confrontation is a test, not of muscle, but of mind. And the moment you realize that your silence can control an entire room, you stop fearing conflict. You start commanding it. Power in confrontation doesn't come from aggression. It comes from control. The man who controls himself controls the situation. Emotional control is the rarest and most feared form of strength, because it cannot be provoked, manipulated, or predicted. Most people believe that confrontation is a battle of words or dominance. It's not. It's a battle of composure. The one who keeps his calm longest wins. When you stay unshaken, your silence becomes unsettling. It exposes your opponent's instability, their lack of control, their desperation for reaction. The calmer you are, the louder their chaos becomes. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology could explain it. They knew that the greatest weapon in conflict is indifference, not out of apathy, but out of mastery. When you detach your emotions from the outcome, you stop fighting for validation. You start fighting strategically. Every confrontation is an invitation to lose yourself, to prove something, to react, to get dragged down into noise. But when you decline that invitation, when you stand calm while others rage, you break the pattern. You refuse to be controlled. You shift from participant to observer, and the observer always has the upper hand. Machiavelli wrote that those who cannot control their own nature cannot control others. This is why kings, generals, and negotiators of power train their faces to reveal nothing. They understand that perception is control. A composed expression, a steady tone, and unshaken posture send a message louder than any threat: I am not affected by you. Composure disarms people. It forces them to question their own strength. The moment your opponent feels they cannot provoke you, they lose psychological leverage. Their words lose power. Their confidence fractures. Because confrontation feeds on emotion, and when you deny it emotion, it starves. In truth, the strongest person in any confrontation is not the loudest, nor the most aggressive. It's the one who stays composed while others burn with rage. Because calmness isn't weakness, it's dominance under disguise. It is the mark of someone who no longer reacts to the world, but directs it. Look around you. In the real world, confrontation is not limited to shouting matches or physical fights. It happens everywhere. In boardrooms, in relationships, on the streets, in silence. It happens in every moment someone tries to provoke you, disrespect you, or draw you into their chaos. The truth is, most people are emotionally weak. They live in constant reaction, always defending, always explaining, always responding to someone else's energy. They think they're standing up for themselves, but in reality, they're being controlled. Because the one who sets the emotional tone of the interaction owns it. Think about the last time someone insulted you. Maybe they questioned your abilities or disrespected you publicly. Your natural instinct was probably to defend yourself, to prove them wrong, to speak louder, to fight back. But that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted to pull you into their chaos, because the moment you react, they've won. You've surrendered control. Now imagine the opposite. Someone confronts you, aggressive, emotional, trying to provoke a response. You stand still. Your face remains calm. Your eyes are steady. You listen, but you give nothing back. No emotional reaction. No defense. Just silence. That silence makes them nervous. Their confidence begins to crumble. They start to second-guess themselves. Because your calmness feels unnatural, it unsettles them. This happens in every sphere of life. In business, the person who can stay composed during negotiation commands respect and leverage. In relationships, the one who remains calm during conflict dictates the emotional pace. In public, the one who doesn't flinch in confrontation radiates quiet authority. Staying unshaken doesn't mean you don't feel, it means you don't show. You process internally and act strategically. It's emotional discipline, not emotional suppression. When others are losing control, you're observing patterns, studying behavior, and deciding the next calculated move. Society glorifies loudness, but power often hides in silence. The quiet ones, the composed ones, they dominate without announcing it. They know that silence is psychological pressure, and calmness is confusion to the undisciplined. Reality rewards those who can master their emotions. Because the world will constantly test you, with insults, rejection, failure, and manipulation. And every test asks one question: can you remain unshaken? To stay unshaken, you must learn the art of emotional control. The ability to move slowly when others rush, to think clearly when others panic. Calmness is not given. It's built through restraint and awareness. It begins with the pause. When you're provoked, your emotions surge. Your mind demands an instant reaction, to defend, to argue, to prove something. That impulse is your weakness. Power lies in interruption, in the stillness between stimulus and response. A single pause breaks the chain of reaction. It gives you time to breathe, to analyze, to respond with precision rather than emotion. The pause is your shield. It denies your opponent entry into your emotions. Then comes emotional detachment. You stop taking things personally. The words of others lose weight because you understand they are projections, not truths. You no longer chase validation or react to judgment. You operate from principle, not approval. The stoic mind doesn't defend its worth, it knows it. And that knowledge makes you unpredictable, unshakable, unreadable. Composure is also communicated physically. Your posture, your tone, your gaze, all speak louder than your words. Keep your body relaxed, your voice calm, your eyes steady. Never match another's chaos. When they shout, lower your tone. When they rush, slow down. Control the tempo, and you control the outcome. Calmness, in confrontation, is psychological dominance. And above all, master strategic silence. Silence unsettles people more than anger ever could. When someone attacks you with words, they expect noise in return. When you stay silent, they start to fill the void, revealing their insecurity and overexposing their intent. Silence turns confrontation into introspection. They begin to question themselves. That's how the strong dismantle the emotional weak. See every confrontation as training, resistance that builds composure. Each time you choose calm over chaos, your mental armor thickens. Soon, what used to shake you no longer reaches you. You observe, you analyze, you remain still, while others lose themselves trying to shake you. That's the essence of power. Not in reacting, not in dominating, but in standing so calm that the storm itself grows tired of raging against you. The world will always test you, not with swords and battles, but with words, disrespect, and subtle provocations. Every confrontation you face is a mirror showing you exactly where you still lose control. But the man who has mastered composure cannot be defeated because he cannot be provoked. His calmness becomes armor. His silence becomes strategy. His restraint becomes authority. To stay unshaken is not to avoid conflict. It's to outgrow it. It's to understand that peace is not found in retreat, but in control. When you are calm, you see clearly. When you are clear, you act precisely. When you act precisely, you win, without chaos, without noise, without losing your center. The world respects power it cannot read. When people can't predict your emotions, they can't manipulate your decisions. You become a mystery, and mystery is the foundation of influence. So let them test you. Let them try to break your silence, to draw out your anger, to shake your confidence. Let them exhaust themselves against your calm. Because the storm always spends its strength against what does not move. And when the noise fades, when every voice around you runs out of energy, you'll still be standing, silent and centered. Not because you fought harder, but because you never lost yourself. That's how the unshaken win. Not through force, but through presence. Not by reacting, but by remaining untouchable. Remember this, composure isn't passivity, it's controlled dominance. And the one who masters himself, no one else can master him.